أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه محمد بن عبد الله وآله وصحبه ومن والاه. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, and may the best of all the peace and blessings be on the best of His creation, Sayyiduna Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Inshallah, tonight we will have some reflection on Surat Al-Insaan or Surat Al-Dahr, the human being or the time. Both of them are names for this surah. It's surah number 76, I'm sorry, 76. If you can please, those who are following with us online, if you can please get your book to this surah, surah number 76, Surat Al-Insaan. I will read it. Let's do the same thing that we did last time. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Go ahead, please. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. Okay, give me the translation that you got, please. What translation is it? Okay, go ahead, please. What is the translation there? There surely came over a man a period of time when he was a thing not worth mentioning. What is the one that you got there? Muhsin Khan? Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it comes in Arabic in a form of question. Has there not been over man a period of time such and such? Has there come upon man such and such? So Allah is kind of asking a question, but question in Arabic and in different languages comes for various connotation. One of them is to request an answer. You are asking a question, the direct meaning of it. But some other meanings of it is you are trying to confirm a fact by asking a question. Isn't she there? Weren't you supposed to do your best? So you're asking, it comes in a form of question, but what you mean is to confirm something that's there. And it's used for various reasons. One of the reasons is to blame. You are blaming. One of the reasons is to remind. You remind somebody. Somebody owes you money, and she was supposed to give you this money last week. And now you know, and she knows that she was supposed to do that to pay back the money by like a week ago. And now you're telling her, weren't you supposed to give me the money a week ago? What form of speech is that? This is a question, right? But you are trying to blame or to remind her that you were supposed to do that last week. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking here in the form of question. Hal here means qad, or which is like confirm, definitely, yes. There has come to the human being a period of time that he was lam yakun shay'an madhkura. He was not a thing to be mentioned. He was nothing. Again, for those who just logged on, we are have some reflections on Surah Al-Insaan, the man or the human being. This is Surah number 76. Please open your Mus'haf, your book, and follow with us. So this is the first verse. Sahih International reads, has there not come upon a man a period of time when he was not a thing even mentioned? What period of time is this? What period of time is that? Question. What is the period of time that Allah is talking about? That there has come to you a period of time that you were nothing, not a thing to be mentioned. That's obviously before we come to existence, before we were born, or before we come to existence. Before the year you came to existence, Who was you? Where were you? You just in the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not a thing to be mentioned. That's what Allah said. لم يكن شيئا, not a thing, مذكورة, to be mentioned. Your name was not known. Your entity was not known to anybody but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the future, knows who will come. He knew all the offspring of Adam even before creating Adam alayhi salam, the father of humanity. So the best of all, or one of the best ni'am, obviously the best of all the ni'am or blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us is existence, is that we do exist. Without existence, we would not have worshipped him. We would not have been given life, and that means no taklif, no capacity to receive the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Existence. This is something we take for granted. That we are here, we exist. I'm a woman, I'm a man, I'm a Muslim, I'm alive. We tend to take that for granted. In the graves, in the cemeteries, nations and nations before us, people before us, they hope that they will be given this time, that they will be given this chance to exist. And the Imam reminded us a beautiful reminder last Friday, when he said he visited with a group of youth a hospital of some terminally sick people, and they were told by the physicians that they have just a short period of time to live. Not sure if you attended the khutbah or not. And he visited them. Somebody got 3 months to live, somebody got 6 months, just an estimate of people, and only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. And the hope, the wish of all of these people, he said, when we ask them, what do you wish, what do you hope that you get? Majority, or I think he said all of them said in a way or another that they hope or they wish to have longer chance to live longer, to have a chance to live longer, so they would do Quran, they would be better Muslims, they would do a lot of a'mal, a lot of actions that they were supposed to do or they missed. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us with this: I give you existence. Weren't you, the man, the human being, a thing that's not even mentioned? Yes. Now you have the ego, the family, the money, the status, the everything that you have in here. You exist. The time came that you were not a thing to be mentioned. What a wonderful way of putting it, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting it in the Quran in here, that he was not a thing to be mentioned. And subhanallah, even like after we come to existence and we leave, people usually do not call us by names anymore. Like here, you have a name, and you grow up a little bit, you have a nickname or a degree, PhD or something, you are a doctor, you are an engineer, you are this and that, nickname, and you keep adding to that. And once you leave the life again, you probably become just like you were before this life. Nobody would give you a name before you come to existence, because they don't know anything about you. Before the father get to know the mother, you were not there. You didn't have even a name, you didn't have existence. And once you leave this life, your name also will be mentioned. They will talk about, if somebody is assassinated, is shot, or is dead in any way, they will say the body is there. The body is there. They would not even mention the name. They would not say XYZ is there. The name is going to be there for a while, but they will call him body, they will call him deceased, they will call him something, and then after a while he will be completely forgotten again. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that is a big ni'mah, a big blessing that I give you, that you exist. So let's not forget the time that come to you, because we usually tend to forget it, that you were nothing, not a thing to be mentioned. And then who brought you, who gave you existence, who brought you to existence? It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then after all of that, we are coming to oppose Allah, to khasimun mubin, to be like a foe for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Doesn't make any sense. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. Let's move to the next ayah and say after me, please. إنا خلقنا الإنسان. Go ahead. خلقنا الإنسان من نطفة من نطفة أمشاج نبتليه فجعلناه سميعا بصيرا. Go ahead please with the translation, the second ayah. Okay, this is ayah number 2. Can you read the translation there, please? A different translation? Okay. Do you have a third translation? Try to pull a third translation so you can join us. What translation is that? Okay, that's fine. It seems different from those. So okay. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, after he said in the first ayah, has there come upon man a while or a period of time or an era when he was not a thing to be mentioned? Then he said, then indeed we created man from a sperm drop mixture that we may try him, and we made him hearing and seeing. We read it a lot in the Quran when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about himself, we. And again, we receive a lot of questions about that. What kind of we is that? Does this refer to plurality, as the Christians say, multiple gods, three gods, or three entities, totality of them is God? Obviously not. This is the royal we, al-azama. It refers to the greatness. Kings, even humans, when they refer to themselves, they do not say I, the king of such and such. They usually refer to themselves using we, and it's known in English, in Arabic, and other languages as the royal we. It's called the royal we. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using this for greatness, not for plurality. We created man from a sperm drop, min nutfatin. Its nutfa is a drop. A drop. Amshaj means mixed, which is something from the man, something from the woman, the sperm, the oval in there, and then they get together, get mixed together. Amshajin nabtalihi. He said all of that so we test him, we try him, all of that to see. نبتليه فجعلناه سميعا بصيرا, and then we made him into. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, is giving us a couple of the most important features that he said. Obviously, that's hearing. We hear and we see. We hear, we see, we understand, we love, we do a lot of things, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us just a couple of features, marvelous features of that creation. Somebody is able to hear and somebody is able to see. Again, try to imagine. Many people, they can live without limbs, with no hand or no leg. It's gonna make a big difference in their life, but nothing is equal to in how bad it is. Nothing is equal to lose an eyesight or a hearing. Imagine somebody who is born, he cannot hear. That's somebody who's almost completely disconnected from the words. They don't know the language. They would not be able to speak, to communicate with the world. Try to imagine somebody who is blind. This is a great loss. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us with two of the most important features. Now, from zero, from nothing, non-existence, bringing us to existence, making us feel the existence. I exist, this cup exists, right? But there is a huge difference between the man and the cup. That Existence in itself is good, is a miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we do exist. But if I exist like the cup, that's like close to, we have al-adam, which is nothingness, nothing is in there. And then we have existence. We share existence with animal, with objects, items like that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made our existence such a special thing that we can feel the world around us. We are here as, we can understand it as a reference from the two features that He gave us, what He's talking about at the end of the ayah, that we made Him into hearing and seeing entity. You are able to hear, you're able to get the world, you're able to see the world, so you're able to communicate and be part of that big creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if you exist with no hearing, with no eyesight, with no features to make you alive, it's not going to be a big of a miracle. But now you do exist, which is a big miracle, after being nothing, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the mixture. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us about nutfatin amshajin, that we are compound of part of the male and part of the female, as the process of multiplication or procreation happen. And subhanallah, this is an amazing miracle here that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sets for us. Some biologists mentioned that the sperm has codes for information for 5,000 millions, which is 5 billion pieces of information, different pieces of information from the male, and the ovum from the email as well. Oval got the same number, 5 billion pieces of information. They get together and they form that human being, having some features from the father, some features from the mother, the skin, the temper, the color, this and that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about all of that. Nutfatin amshajin, mixture from here and from here. You get something from your father, you get something from your mother's side, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, has there not come to the human being or to the man a period of time that he was not a thing to be mentioned? Indeed, we created the man from a drop, mixture, meaning the sperm and the ovum, that we may try him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is summarizing the entire mission, the entire purpose of creation, that he is created to be tested. To be tested. What would he do? What would she do with their existence? With their sami'an basira, with them being hearing and seeing. And then he said, Inna hadaynahu sabil. Go ahead, please. إما شاكرا وإما كفورا. Translation from the right. Yes, Aisha. Okay, almost the same thing. So Allah is telling us in here, I created you after you were nothing. I made you, this is how I made you, and I give you those beautiful features, being sami'an basira, hearing and seeing. Then I guided you. Indeed, we guided him to the way, be he grateful or be he ungrateful. Guided him as-sabila, inna hadaynahu as-sabil, the way. We guided him the way. There is only one way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one right way to get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, this big highway got some very multiple lanes within it, but it's one way that gets you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not want to get you to existence and give you all of these features and just leave you with no guidance. No, he guided you. He said, Inna hadaynahu as-sabil, imma shakiran wa imma kafura. We guided him the way, and then it's up to him to be grateful or not to be grateful. Allah is just describing to us. They will be into this or that. Imma wa imma. Either or, إما شاكرا وإما كفورا, being them grateful or not grateful. Obviously, they should read all of that things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to us or to him, meaning bringing him to existence after being nothing, giving him all of these features, and then guiding him the way through sending the books and the prophets and all of that to show him the way. Then he should make the right choice and be shakiran, grateful to Allah. Guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes into category. We have guidance almost three levels. One level, the initial level, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Taha, الذي أعطى كل شيء خلقه ثم هدى. It is him, my Lord, when Pharaoh was asking Musa alayhi salam, Moses, who is your Lord? He said, my Lord is the one who created everything and given it its creation, its shape, and then guided it. So this is the initial guidance, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said also in Surah Al-A'la, سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء قدر فهدى. He said he is the one who proportioned and guided. So he proportioned everything and then guided it. Animals are guided. A lizard is not going to behave like a lion. A fish is not going to behave like something else. Everything is guided, is guided to do certain things. I was watching the video the other day. I shared it even on my Facebook page. A dolphin is born, and subhanallah, the process was not easy for the mother. It takes a while until big baby is born, and then right away it swims really fast like a bullet. So you wouldn't see a dolphin coming to just learn how to swim, being born to, and the mother would teach him. No, he is born and guided. You swim. A calf would be born and try to stand up. He's not gonna, crawl or something. Or so everything is guided. This is the initial level of guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directed everything to, to do the job that this thing or that person is created for. Then the second level of guidance is the guidance of al-wahy, the guidance of the revelation, which is called the hidayatu al-dilala, the guidance of showing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the books, sent the prophets, not to give people guidance in terms of having the power to make this a guided person, a believer, and having this a non-believer. They don't have this power. They have power that's less than that. The power that they got is to show them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending us the book. Quran got power, but what kind of power the Quran got is to show people. Show this is right. The right thing is here. The wrong thing is here. The right way is to go this way. The wrong way is to go this way. So prophets, books, and all of that is hidayatul dilala, is to show them, yadul, to point out to them, to explain to them, to display to them. That's right, that's wrong. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving this to everybody. And then the third level and the highest level, hidayatul tawfiq, or the guidance of success. Allah gives success. Somebody who accepts, somebody who's first, who got the first, everybody gets the first guidance, the first hidayah. Like everybody is born to know this is, the breast of his mother, this is the source of food. You're not going to go anywhere else. They will, just do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them to do. And then after that, Allah will send prophets to all. The Prophet Muhammad, the last prophet, to all humanity, equally, to everybody. So they are all giving the message equally. And then whoever decides to go to that level and whoever decides to take this guidance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him tawfiq. Allah will give him success. As he said in the Quran, وَالَّذِينَ اهْتَدَوْا زَادَهُمْ هُدًى. Those who are guided, Allah will increase them in guidance. Allah will give them success and tawfiq, love, to be firm in their faith, more and more of guidance. As he said in Surah Al-Kahf, the cave, about those youth, Allah described them. He said, إِنَّهُمْ فِتْيَةٌ آمَنُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ. They were a group of young people who آمَنوا, they believed in their Lord. So what does this mean? What level of guidance is that? آمَنُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ. Is that level 1, 2, or 3? Level 2. So they believe. Allah give them the level one, as we said, that's given to everybody, even animals. Level two is to show them the book. Here is the message. You get it, you believe in it. So this is level two. So Allah said, إنهم فتية, group of people, young people, آمنوا, they believed, so they got level two. And then He said, إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى. We increased them in guidance. So Allah give them into level three. He gave them success. He got them even into a higher level of, guidance, that no matter how much this is going to cost us, we're going to go for it because faith is there in our heart. And then Allah made them a big miracle for humanity, for everybody after that. So Allah said, we guided them the way, which is the second level of guidance. We showed them. And then it's up to them either to be grateful, take it, and then Allah will increase them in guidance, or kafura, they deny it, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will facilitate also to them. Whichever way you choose, Allah will make it easy for you. As He said, في سورة الليل, Surah the night, He said, فأما من أعطى واتقى وصدق بالحسنى, those who give and fear, be pious, Allah, وصدق بالحسنى, and they believe in what is the best, believe in Jannah, believe in Allah, فسنيسره لليسرى, we facilitate him, whoever gives and believes, and we facilitate him, we make easy for him the easiest way. And then He said right after that, وَأَمَّا مَنْ بَخِلَ, but whoever is miserly to give, as Allah subhanahu, give of your time, give of your, to Allah, back to Allah, back to people around you. بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى, and he feels self-sufficient. No, I'm not in need for God or anything. وَكَذَّبَ بِالْحُسْنَى, and denied the way which is the best. فَسَنْيَسِّرُهُ لِلْعُسْرَى, same thing, we're going to facilitate him to the usra, to the hard way, to the bad way, the wrong way, which is hard. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made everything equal. It's all on us. Then the next ayah, number 4. إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا, go ahead, لِلْكَافِرِينَ سَلَاسِلَ وَأَغْلَالًا وَسَعِيرًا. Translation. Okay, He said yes. So he told us that we guide, in the previous ayah, we guided the human being, we guided everybody the way, being them grateful or ungrateful. But then He said, if you are ungrateful, beware. It's waiting for the disbelievers. We have prepared what is waiting, what is there for the disbelievers. Indeed, we have prepared for the disbelievers all of these horrific things, chains and shackles and a blazing fire. So their hands will be cuffed and chained together and tied to their legs, and they will be in the hellfire. So being in the fire is one big punishment, and being chained in the fire, not being able to move or make any movement, that's added to a level that's added to the suffering that they have. So this is shortly Allah is saying, we bring people to existence after being nothing. We made him Sami'an Basira, hearing and seeing. We guided him the way, being him grateful or ungrateful. And here is the way of the ungrateful. They will be punished in such and such way. And then in the next ayah, He will move one ayah, one verse number 4, He's speaking about the abode or the destiny of the disbelievers, those who reject, those who are ungrateful. Right? This is only one verse, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ سَلَاسِلَ وَأَغْلَالًا وَسَعِيرًا. Indeed, we prepared for the disbelievers chains, shackle, and blazing fire. 6 words. But then in all, how many ayat we can count after that, how He give us the destiny, the abode of those who do good, the righteous, those who are grateful. He said, إِنَّ الْأَبْرَارِ, go ahead. يشربون من كأس كان مزاجها كافورا. Yes, translation please.
Whereas behold, the same virtuous shall drink from flavored with the fruits of sweet-smelling flowers.
Okay, your version. Okay. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started talking about what's going to be there for the righteous, the good, the grateful. Indeed, the righteous will drink from a cup of wine, ka'sin, usually ka's. In Arabic, when you say ka's, it's a cup. Usually it's linguistically refers to any cup. But culturally, it refers to a cup of wine. When you say ka's. كان مزاجها كافورا. The flavor of it is kafur, which is some kind of sweet, beautiful smelling flower. Again, when we talk about, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about anything in paradise, in the heaven, in Al Jannah, in paradise, He uses names, which is completely unlike the names of the things that we have in life. So when He said khamr, wine, it's not like our wine. When He said trees, they are not like our trees. When He says whatever, is just a name, but you can never even imagine it. Regardless of how many description of the trees of Jannah, the water of Jannah, the wine of Jannah, the this and that, you can never, because it's also in the hadith. Allah says in the Quran, the Prophet ﷺ says in the hadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعددت لعبادي الصالحين, I prepared for my righteous people, ما لا, meaning in Jannah, in heaven, ما لا عين رأت, what no eye has ever seen, ولا أذن سمعت, what no ear has ever heard, ولا خطر على قلب بشر, and what no human imagination could ever never imagine. So not even with your imagination, your heart, you can get to it with your heart, never. So it's just names. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but yet He still has to communicate with us, to tell us, to talk to us what's in Jannah. So it's going to be names, but the reality of those things, inshallah, we will see it when we go there, we will taste it when we go there, we smell it when we go there, we see what it is like. So here Allah is saying they will be drinking from a cup that this is how it smells, or how it's made, mixture of kafur, wine with this kind of smell. And wine in Jannah, it's going to be only, as Allah said, لا فيها غول ولا هم عنها ينزفون. It doesn't have this feature that takes away the mind. No, is you're gonna get the sweetness of it, like whatever good things in it, without being affected by the bad things in it. Nothing in Jannah is bad. And then He said, عينا يشرب بها عباد الله. Go ahead. يفجرونها تفجيرا. Translation. Okay. Okay. So here, it's not going to be just a small amount of, you got a bigger bottle or container or something, and then you just put a small amount, or big cup, you put more. I need more tea. So let me get more tea if you don't mind, inshallah, then we continue. So this is what Allah is talking about. It's very sweet, mashallah. I like this. So it's not like that something that you like, then it's done. You have to go and get a bag and put it, and then put the water again. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same amount of sugar or the same taste. It might not be the same taste, it might be different. Maybe it's not as hot as it used to be or whatever. No, in Jannah, nothing is going to be like that. This ayah is saying what? It's going to be like a fountain, like a spring that those slaves of Allah will drink from it. عينا يشرب بها عباد الله. So it's a fountain that those عبادullah will drink from it. And then he will talk to us after that it's قدروها تقديرا, which is it's gonna give them exactly what is needed to satisfy them. Because it's also not good if that will satisfy me, but you give me a cup that size. I mean, it's too much for me. Not too much, not too little. A fountain, a spring that they are able to, it will be gushing down to them. If you want to get more, you get more. If you want to get less, you get less. You will be drinking from this spring. The righteous people of Allah, ibadullah, they will be drinking from it. Who are those ibadullah that Allah will give them all of that? See, we are counting how many ayat, verses now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. He said, created man after being nothing, give him all of these features. Then I guided him the way, being him grateful or ungrateful. Beware, the ungrateful is going to be punished in the hellfire. One ayah, he said, the punishment for the ungrateful. And then all of these ayat, Allah is saying, this is going to be the reward for those who are grateful. They will have يشربون من كأس, a cup to drink, a cup with this kind of flavor, and it's going to be like a fountain, not just a small amount of drink. They would use it the way they want. يوفون بالنذر. Then he gave us the description of them. يوفون بالنذر ويخافون. Go ahead. ويخافون يوما كان شره مستطيرا. Some of the description of those ibadullah, the true servants of Allah. The translation, yes. Okay. Can I do what? Shorter? Okay. Let's do it again. يوفون بالنذر ويخافون يوما كان شره مستطيرا. Okay, now the translation, second translation.
They fulfill their vows. They who fulfill their vows and stand in awe of the day that into which the sun spread far and wide.
Okay.
Those who fulfill their vows and fear their day which is evil and widespread.
Okay, so Allah is giving us general description of those people. They fulfill their vows. Being humans, being people, we make vows. We made a vow to be a Muslim by accepting Islam and announcing it every day and doing it. So let's stand up to that. We might take some little vows, like some people might do. If this happens to me, I take the vow that I will do that or shall do that. So if those who keep and fulfill their promises, their vows, usually a vow is something that you take, an obligation that you optionally take, a responsibility that you optionally get into. So those who fulfill the responsibilities of vows that they get themselves into, obviously it's not obligatory on you, but you get yourself there and you fulfill that, which means those people would more likely to fulfill the responsibilities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put over them, or whatever that's obligatory on them by nature. If they would live up to the level of fulfilling their vows, the things that they made obligatory on themselves without them being obligated to do it from beginning. If they stand up to that, meaning they will be able to take all the other vows or responsibilities on them. So they will always, description of those ibadullah, they will always fulfill their vows. They keep their vows. وَيَخَافُونَ يَوْمًا كَانَ شَرُّهُ مُسْتَطِيرًا. And they fear a day of judgment, whose evil will be widespread. That day is a day that's completely different from any other day. Length, what's happening in it, how people will be different. تُبَدَّلُ الْأَرْضُ غَيْرَ الْأَرْضِ. Earth will be changed into a different earth. Sky is a different sky. As we mentioned before, it is just a completely different day. So people, the true servants of Allah, they think of that day and they work for that day. They prepare themselves for that day. This is some of the description. Next ayah. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا. Translation. Okay. Okay. Orphan. Okay. So they give food. Another description of them. They keep their vows. They fear that day. They're conscious about that day of judgment. And now also they feed or they give food in spite of love for it to the needy, orphan, and the captive. So food is one of the most beloved thing. But those true servants of Allah, believe it or not, living in the 21st century and having, and even living in the West, if somebody lives in the West, he is one of the luckiest 40% of the world. 25% of the world who enjoy 40% of the total world population, total world production. By default, they have a lot of resources, much more resources than anyone else in the rest of the world. Yet, we do have some orphans, needy, hungry, and we have a problem of hunger in everywhere. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about one of the very beautiful reminders, values that they feed. You get the food, very simple thing, easy thing. You don't have to, in order for you to do something good, you don't have to be a billionaire, multi-billionaire, so you allocate 5 billion to people who suffer in Africa or in Asia or something. You don't need to just wait up to that level, which might never happen until, so you be righteous or something. No, you can, if you have food, Allah is saying, if you have food, you can still do beautiful thing. One of the descriptions of ibadullah is that they give food even though they love it, and obviously of any other items that they love it. As he said in other ayah, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You will not get to the level of birr, righteousness, until you spend of what you love. So here Allah is talking specifically about food. They give it to needy, orphan, and captives. So somebody who is in need, who doesn't have, they work and everything, or they don't have work, but they don't have food. They are needy. They need, many people, they suffer just to bring food to their families. So righteous people would always make sure that they give food to the needy. To the orphan, an orphan person who does not have one of the parents or both of them are not there. وَأَسِيرًا, captive, somebody who is freedom is limited somehow and they cannot earn their living somehow. So giving food is one of the beautiful actions. Yes. This is one of the hadith that's there in the tafsir. I'm not even quite sure. I didn't come across it, whether it's authentic hadith or not. But even though there is a reason behind any of the ayat, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking generally, then it means that person that it was revealed regarding, and it involves anybody else. And also the Prophet ﷺ also said in hadith, when he was asked a question by one of the companions, Ya Rasulullah, what is the best thing that I can do in Islam? And he said, تطعم الطعام, you feed the food, وتفشي السلام, and to spread peace, the greeting of peace, على من عرفت ومن لم تعرف. For those you know and those you do not know. So part of the very good deeds, one of the very good deeds, even though it's easy, is to feed people. Is to feed. ويطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما واسيرا. And then their intention is that they do it for the sake of Allah. إنما نطعمكم. Yes. لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. So those people will be feeding the food to the needy, the orphan, the captives, and then translation. Okay. Yes, even though it's a little action, little meal that you give it to somebody, even if it's so little, but make sure that if to be amongst ibadullah is that you feed, and in your heart you do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to make a difference in their life, and you do it for the sake of Allah. Being the action big or small, إنما الأعمال بالنيات, it's all by intention. All is judged by intention. So they feed them for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not waiting to be shown, to show off or to be seen by others, saying like, we wish not from you reward or gratitude. So if that is the case, then we give the food to anybody who is in need. To anybody who is in need, because we're not only for friends. It's good to give food for friends and make food and everything. Allah. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. Can you turn on the sound, please? Turn off. Yeah, just the sound, the sound itself. Allah Allah. Allah. Is it yet Isha time? Yeah, it's 8:45, but we pray 9:15. I'm thinking that time did not come yet. 8:48 here. What is the schedule? 45? No, I mean the schedule. What is the Isha time? The schedule? Huh? Our masjid time. Let me just double check quickly. (8:52) according to our schedule, so that was an early adhan, just a reminder adhan. Okay, we got enough, I don't want to say interruption today, but inshallah we conclude. I thought we're going to be able to finish the surah, but I doubt it. So those people, one of the description of them is that the slaves of Allah, the servants of Allah, that they fulfill their vows. They fear the day of judgment. They feed the people, even though the food to the people, even though they love it, to the needy, the orphan, the captives. And they say in their heart, the intention in their heart doing that is that they feed them for the sake of Allah. So that refers to sincerity, ikhlas. Whatever we do, even if it's as little as giving some food to somebody, do it for the sake of Allah, not for jaza'an wala shukura, not wishing for a reward or gratitude from people. It's good. We're humans, yes. We love to be thanked and stuff, but we shouldn't do things only and purely and solely to be thanked, to be shown, to be for gratitude and rewards. Otherwise, Allah does not accept anything like that. Next ayah, إِنَّا نَخَافُ مِنْ رَبِّنَا يَوْمًا عَبُوسًا قَمْطَرِيرًا. Translation? Okay. Okay, that's a description of Abus and Qamtarira. So they said we fear again. They remind themselves that that day they are really afraid, or they're really worried, they're really conscious about that day that will be distressful, and they will make faces look horrible from extreme dislikeness to it. So they do that for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and as one good deed to be put into their credit that will benefit them on that difficult, hard day. Next ayah. فَوَقَاهُمْ اللَّهُ شَرَّ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ وَلَقَّاهُمْ نَضْرَةً وَسُرُورًا. The translation of that, please.
Therefore, Allah will deliver them from the evil of that day and grant them guidance and joy. So Allah will preserve them from the rules of that day and will bestow on them brightness and joy.
Okay.
So Allah will save them from the evil of that day and grant them a life of beauty and joy.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is what they do in dunya. They did things as little as giving food to some people, which means they care. That's a caring person. They care for the needy, the orphan, the captives. They feed them, they feed the hungry, and they do that for the sake of Allah, and they are afraid from the consequences of anything in the day of judgment. Because of all of that, Allah said, Allah so and so, فَوَقَاهُمْ فَا, because of all of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects them from the evil of that day. Nothing will affect them on that day of all of these horrible things that we hear of will happen on that day. Allah protects them from all of that because of their actions. وَلَقَّاهُمْ نَضْرَةً وَسُرُورًا, and He will give them a radiance and happiness. Their faces will be shiny, will be radiant like the sun, or even better. They will be very glamorous, have very glamorous, shiny faces. وَسُرُورًا, that's the external beauty, and then وَسُرُورًا, happiness. So internally, externally, and internally, they will be at extreme level of goodness, happiness. They would look like bright, very shiny from outside, and also they will be so happy from inside that they have done all of that. Now we see it. This is our work. In this life, we feed people, we kept our vows, we did all of these actions. Because of all of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect them from all of the evils. Not only protect them from the evils and problems and distressful things of that day, but rather He will give them ultimate level of beauty, of happiness, internally and externally. وَجَزَاهُمْ بِمَا صَبَرُوا جنة جنة وحريرا. Translation: and he would reward them.
And will award them because of what they endured, a garden and a raiment of silver.
Okay.
Who will reward them for all the patience with the virtue, with the garden of peace and the garments of silver. And the wealth of them shall be a covenant of different garments before they will creation.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us an example how will be the reward, and the reward is mainly because of the patience. They were patient. We need patience to do anything. Anything in life, patience is the fuel for it. You need patience to learn, to deal good with others, to take, the bad things from others, to worship Allah, to stay away from haram, to stay on doing the good things. You need patience for anything. Because of the patience of those people, they were rewarded Jannatan. Jannah is not only garden, is actually paradise. It's, Jannah, heaven. Waharira, and silk. So they will, you can imagine the silk of Jannah, how it will be like. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give it to them in there. Just as an example of what they will get, the clothes, how it will be. Okay. متكئين فيها على الأرائك. Let's read it. متكئين فيها على الأرائك لا يرون فيها شمسا ولا زمهريرا.
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة
لا حول.
حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله. طيب, they will be there. Translation, did you give the translation? Go ahead.
In that garden, they will be unconscious with cleansing, and they know that it is neither the burning of the sun nor the severe cold. The time where they are bright, nor they will see their living, nor certainty, nor the sun, nor the severe cold, as in fire that there is no sun.
Okay. So usually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying متكئين فيها على الأرائك, they'll be reclining, as we read the translation. If we ask some children or even some of us to draw something to show a luxurious life, somebody who is in luxury, who lives in fancy life, I'm guessing that somebody would be drawing a person who is like reclining, in a very fancy couch or something. We even see it in commercials and stuff. What kind of mattress you get, what kind of couch you get, you sit on. That's a level of comfort that we want to get you on, and whatever. So it's a sign of, and people pay sometimes thousands to get that kind of mattress or that kind of couch, because it's a sign of luxury and comfort. So here in Jannah, those people will be reclining على الأرائك, on those kind of couches where there's nothing to bother them. لا يرون فيها شمسا, there is no direct sun, ولا زمهريرا, which means hot, no heat, no cold. So it's in a very beautiful weather. You could be dressing the best and having everything the best, but just if you could think of that, a few degrees higher than average would ruin your day. You'll be sweating, or humidity, or cold. If it's too cold, just a few degrees less, it might be like not as you want it. But in Jannah, you will be just at the limit, at the right weather that is there for them to enjoy. And they will be sitting on those fancy ara'ik or couches enjoying it. ودانية عليهم ظلالها وذللت قطوفها تذليلا. Another way of making those people feel this luxury, let's read it. ودانية عليهم ظلالها وذللت قطوفها تذليلا. Translation. Okay.
Since it's peaceful shades will come down below oven and warm the time down especially fruit most easy to reach.
Okay.
There are both of them in the branches of fruit and the branches of fruit thereof and the rainbow within their reach.
Okay. So another way of making them comfortable, دانية عليهم ظلالها, they will be always in shade. This is something that many people they refer to shelter or house as a roof. If I have a roof on my head, on top of my head, and which means I'm having the comfort of being at home, something to protect me from sun, protect me from rain. This is something that we could never, may Allah protect us all, but I'm thinking we could never really estimate or appreciate unless a disaster happened or something. I'm just imagining what happened to the people in Katrina in Louisiana. That's not far from us, just a few years back. You have house and everything, just people like us, may Allah protect us all, and they have everything. They have the house, they have, and all of a sudden something happened, they don't have house. Try to imagine you, your kids. I mean, that's a great blessing to have a house there. So they will be in the shade, not like any shade. And then we can go fancier, more fancy. You can get a gazebo in the backyard, in the front yard. You can get those fancy kind of shades in here on the beach or something. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will offer them this shade as protection and as a fancy thing. Not only that, وَذُلِّلَتْ قُطُوفُهَا تَذْلِيلًا. The clusters of fruit, if you have all the fruit and the food and everything nowadays, the most luxurious person, they have cooks, people to cook for them. They have the food, everything is available for them. But then for them to eat, then at least they have to order. They will ask the people to prepare this for them, and then it's going to take time, and then they might not do it in the best way, the best taste or something. But in Jannah, nothing of that is in there. All you need to do is just think of it. Whatever you are, standing, sitting, reclining, walking, running. I'm thinking of grapes right now. It will come, daniyatan, hanging, coming to you at your, very reachable to you at your, within the limit of your reach, you can take it. دانية عليهم ظلالها وذللت قطوفها تذليلا. It's subdued for them. It's made available for them, lowered to them wherever they are. Even if you have it nowadays, or you don't have it, you have to go to the market and buy it. You have the money and everything, but it's going to be some time. Many times you need this. I'm thinking of watermelon this tonight or something, but I'm very lazy to go drive to Walmart or to Publix and get a watermelon. Or even if I have it, I might be lazy to go leave the bid or something and go get some, fruit from the fridge or something. Or if I give it, it's still cold. I have to do something to, make it warm enough. Nothing of that is in there. You need that. You just think of it, comes to you the way you want it. And another way of comfort for them, ويطاف عليهم بآنية من فضة وأكواب كانت قواريرا. Translation.
And you will be waited upon with vessels of silver and gold that will be useful. And also will have vessels of silver and gold of useful.
Okay, one other way of the comfort and luxury of the people in Jannah after having all the food delivered to them on the spot, all you need to do is just think of it. It will come to be lowered to you, delivered to you, the position wherever you are, sleeping, standing, whatever. And then above that, on top of that, يطاف عليهم بآنية من فضة, cups of silver that will be a special kind of silver. It's transparent. It's kind of special, extraordinary kind of silver that will be transparent, just like glass, but it's actually silver that will go around for them whenever they need it. يطاف عليهم بآنية من فضة وأكواب كانت قواريرا. So this is the description of they drink. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked in the beginning of the surah that they will drink يشربون فيها كأسا كذا. He said in the beginning describing their drink, and now also he's further describing the drink of those people, the cups that they will drink on. قوارير من فضة قدروها تقديرا. Those cups, the next ayah, are made out of silver, and قدروها تقديرا, its proportion. One of the meaning is it is just proportion to the amount that they will need. So the cup is always there. It has a drink. They need more, it's already there. It's not gonna end. They need less gun, it will be gone. قوارير من فضة قدروها تقديرا. It's determined and measured in the right way. I will just go over it quickly. ويسقون فيها كأسا كان مزاجها زنجبيلا. Again, they will be given to drink a cup of wine with mixture of ginger. Again, only the names from this dunya, but it's actually an amazing thing that inshallah we'll taste it there. عينا فيها تسمى سلسبيلا. They will drink from a fountain within paradise named Salsabil. This is the name of it. ويطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون. The servants of ولدان مخلدون, they will be circulating amongst them young boys or young children made eternal, created for Jannah to serve those people. And the description of those servants is amazing. When you see them, if you see those little children in there, you would think of them as beautiful as scattered pearls. They just look like petals scattered. So you might be in a fancy restaurant or fancy place, and then the person who is serving you the food really makes a big difference. I know people, sometimes we go to a location that's not as good or a place that's not really as we want it to be because of the servant. The servant is so good. He always makes us comfortable. The waiter or the people, the customer service thing. So in Jannah, or the opposite, you can think of it the opposite. You go to the best place, Captain Anderson, for example, here in Panama City or whatever you are thinking of, and then try to think that the person who is serving you the food, his hand is dirty or something, or they just deal with you not in the right way. So no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is here talking about the little details. You'll be giving that kind of food, that it will be made available and easy for you to access it, to take it. You'll be giving that kind of drink, and then the servants will be children. Usually everybody loves children. Everybody loves children. By nature, they are beautiful. But no, at Jannah, they will be much more beautiful and like petals, like glamorous and shiny, and just like lu'lu'an manthura, lu'lu', which is pearl that's just scattered around. وإذا رأيت ثم رأيت نعيما وملكا كبيرا. And then he's going to give us, if you look around, look here and there, you see mulkan kabira, na'iman wa mulkan kabira, great level of pleasure and great dominion. So whatever you look, everything you look at gives you pleasure. There is nothing wrong. There is no trash or nothing that's not neat or nothing that's not clean. Everything just, you look at it, this is the chair, this is a room, this is the servant, this is the water that you drink, this is Nahrul Kawthar, your palace in Jannah, meeting with Allah, the trees of Jannah, this is the Prophet, this is your friends, your everybody around you, nothing is wrong in Jannah. رأيت ثم رأيت نعيما وملكا كبيرا. Whenever you look there in paradise, you will see pleasure and great dominion. Doesn't end. طيب, let's stop here inshallah and maybe we continue next time because we pray Isha inshallah in 7-8 minutes. Any comment, quick comment or question so we can conclude inshallah? Okay, هذا والله أعلم. Allah knows best. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Thank you all, those who are watching us online, and please keep joining us inshallah and spreading the word of goodness inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.